All right, guys, so our authentication system is in place, but we can still see the home page if we're not logged in, and we don't want that. So we're going to create a new private route component. So I'm just going to close all this up. And inside, let's close that up. Inside components, I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to just call this routing. And inside routing, I'm going to create a new file called private route.js. So basically, we want to be able to, inside of our app.js, whenever we want a route that requires you to be logged in, I just want to be able to do this private route like that as a component. So inside private route, let's scaffold a functional component here. And we're going to need the context, the auth context, because we need to know if we're logged in or not. So, and we also want that loading value because we want to make sure it's done loading. So let's say import use context and our auth context. And then let's go down here. Now inside of our props, we're going to destructure, and we need to actually take in a component, and we're going to set that to component, and then anything else that's passed in, and we can use the rest operator for that. So triple dots and then rest. Okay, and this is kind of the standard way to create a private route component in React. You might have even done this before, especially if you took my MERNstat course. Only we used Redux there. So let's go ahead and go above the return and say auth context equals use context. And we want to use auth context. And then let's pull from that is authenticated and loading. Okay, and now inside the return, actually we need to bring in a couple things from the React router because we're creating a route. So let's import route and also redirect, so we can redirect. And that's going to be from React router DOM. And then we're going to return here a route. So we can get rid of this div. And let's say route. It's going to be like that. And then we have some stuff to pass in here. One is going to be any extra props that are passed in, or I should say the rest. So basically this right here will be passed in. And then we want to add a render. And inside this render, it takes props. And we're going to use an arrow, and then we just need to check to see if the user is authenticated or not. So let's say if the user is authenticated, so is not authenticated and is not loading. So basically, if the user is not authenticated and the user is done loading, or the state is done loading, then, oops, we want to be within these curly braces, then let's open up a set of parentheses, and let's redirect, okay? Because if they're not authenticated, we don't want them on this page or on wherever we put the private route onto. In our case, is going to be the home page. So we want to redirect to the login page, okay, like that. Else, so let's actually go after this parentheses here. We'll say else. We'll open up another set of parentheses. Then we just want to load whatever the component is. So we're going to say component, and then whatever extra props are in that component. So just like that. So this is very common for creating a private route component. You might see a slightly different syntax. So now we should be able to go to app.js, and we should be able to bring in our private route. Basically, we're just adding an extra layer to the actual route component, which is from React Router DOM, and we're just checking to see if authenticated. All right, so we're bringing this in from components/routing/private route. And then the only route that I want private is going to be the home page. So I'm just simply going to add private route. So let's save that and let's go back. And now you can see that it already redirected us as soon as it reloaded. If I try to go to just slash, I can't do it. It doesn't let me. Okay, so let's log in. And now I can view the route because I'm logged in. If I log out, it takes me right back out. Okay, so now that we have that done, we can finally start working on the actual contacts and pulling those from our API. All right, so we'll get to that next.